time and place to do it. So nowadays I wait for the competition to happen.
When you're trying to become successful, you're going to need to make sure that you're one of those people that decides to take action. And you want to be more of a doer than a watcher. You don't want to say your goals out loud and then never do anything about it. You're going to want to be the person that says they're going to do something and actually commit to it and go out and try to achieve whatever it is that you want to accomplish. So many people in today's world are those who tell everybody what they want to do, yet they decide to do nothing about it.
It was obviously explained, hey, this is what happened. You should be cautious, but it wasn't this like hovering over me to make sure I was.
You need to make sure that you're all about the action, because all it takes is a start. That's one of the hardest things you'll ever have to do in your path to success is begin. Just try to begin, because you're constantly going to be making excuses of when you can start the next day or next week, or you don't have time right now. You just need to buckle down and start as soon as you possibly can, because that way you get started and you get rolling, and then you'll be motivated that you've actually started your dream and you've started to pursue whatever goal it is that you want in life.
To show up and have a girl so talented. But yeah, I've been able to hang with her and you know, get to know her family.
And a way that you can help boost that is by just listening to other people that have done it before you. Let them tell you some of the successes and failures that they have gone through, and let them explain to you how hard it's going to be or how difficult it was for them to be able to be this successful. Listening to others is an extremely underrated skill.
Man, it's a mixture of things. It's like, you know, there's always new goals, there's always new things to do. Obviously, you know, when it comes to snowboarding, going to an Olympics and not doing well, obviously at Sochi not getting the gold and all that, like, man, extremely motivating, extremely eye-opening. I'd never gone to an Olympics and not won. It was the first time for me. I was like, wow, how do I feel about this? Well, what happens after? And it was amazing for me to realize that people were still like, oh, you're the champ, you're the guy, you know, and I don't know, for some reason, I just like in my mind, I just assumed that. I just remember feeling like this overwhelming, like, wow, I'm still alive, I'm still here. Like the worst thing I could have imagined happened, and I was still here. I was still considered, you know, the great in the sport. And it did a lot for me personally. I was like, wow, I can actually, like, I can lose. And I hadn't lost. I mean, this like reign of like me winning, it's been a long thing. And obviously that was just like one night, one contest, but the world was watching, so it was pretty rough to lose. But you realize that, yeah, it's just that one moment and you gotta get back up, and that's the true spirit of the sport, is to come back, and it's like Rocky. It's probably my best and worst quality is like, I don't know, you approach every situation in life where you want to win, and that just doesn't really work out in business. It doesn't really, you know, like I can go win a contest and like I get the trophy, I get the award, you know, it's this instant gratification. It just doesn't happen like that in business, and it's all this kind of, you know, like, well, let's give us time, and there's so many moving parts to get a commercial signed off on, or to get a clothing line out there, to get, you know, the right price point for the right fabric, at the, you know what I mean, all these different things that come into play. But it's been a humbling experience to sit and learn from the people around me, and to be involved with companies like that. I mean, from the young age of like 13, you know, is an amazing thing for me, because I learned that I wanted the right of approvals over my ads, over the products with my name on it, and that really taught me a lot about how the products were made and how they were, you know, getting to people and all the, you know, in-betweens. Every single time something doesn't work out, there's such a valuable lesson to be learned that I can't really, you know, call it a mistake if you learn from it. It's just like what happened, and then you move on.
I immediately take a look at everything that comes in. I go, okay, even before we do some sort of product, the sponsorship, you know, do I like this product? Do I like this company? Do I like their, you know, presence in the marketplace in that sense? You know, how would I align with them? How would that be something that would be natural? But everything's really come about in a very natural and kind of organic way, where when I was younger, I mean, I think you think now and go, oh wow, you have all these products. I didn't like wake up and go, oh, I need a gum and I need all these things. It just kind of happened. Yeah, when I was 7, that's like a great example of you know, being young. I started with Burton when I was 7, and you know, I was making my way up the ranks, and I finally got to the point where I went pro and I got a pro model snowboard. I'm like, okay, well, I want my brother to help me design it, and so that kind of became a thing, because he was always doing a lot of artwork. And from there it grew, because the boards were selling so well, into like a pro model helmet. The helmet sold out, and then it was a snowboard boot, and that did well, and then it became like a whole clothing line. Yeah, well, that's just Burton, you know, that's boards, boots, you know, outerwear, and we have a women's line too.
I hit a point where I was, you know, I felt like I was keeping the same kind of level as snowboarding, you know. I kept learning new tricks every summer, and I kept going and going, and eventually I just, gosh, I started competing, I said when I was around 16, and at that point I got third in a pro event, and I'm like, man, maybe I can really, you know, get this going. And I think at that point, once I see something that's somewhat possible, I just go for it. Yeah, it was wild. I mean, that was the hugest thing for me, because I always dreamed of being able to do that, you know what I mean, to get going both winter and summer. It didn't really seem possible until I started really going at it, and I don't know, I just dedicated 1 year to, because I have to balance the time between snowboarding and skating, and so I took one season, I won a bunch of the D-Tour events, and then I came through and won the X Games, so it was solid. Well, that's the thing is, I don't know, I mean, I always kind of ended up skating my own way from the start. If I didn't want to learn the trick that leads to the next trick, I just skip it. I don't know, it's just funny to be able to drop everything and change sports like that.
Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Hit that like button and let us know what you think down in the comment section below.